Welcome back to another video of the channel. My name is Julio. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and let's get down to business. So today we're going to be talking about BGP attribute AS path, when to use it, and what is it used for. Before we get into the lab, let's get inside the details. So BGP AS path prepending is a technique that manipulates the AS path attribute of a BGP route to influence routing. It involves adding an autonomous system number, ASN, multiple times to the AS path attribute. So as we all know, BGP is a path vector protocol, which means it prefers the shortest AS path to get to a destination. Let me give you an example. All right, so here's a picture. We're going to focus on AS1, which involves router 1, router 2, and router 3. So let's say router 1 wants to reach a destination that resides on router 4. Router 1 is going to verify his BGP routing table and is going to see how many AS path do I have to go across to reach a destination that resides on router 4, as mentioned. He's going to pick router 2 because he only has one path to get to the destination versus router 3 that he has 5 times his own autonomous system, plus he has to go across AS4 and AS3 to reach the destination network that resides on router 4. So essentially, router 1 is going to choose router 2 because it has the shortest AS path to get to the destination. And you might be asking yourself, how can we accomplish this kind of configuration? The key word is route maps. And I'm going to show you right now the CLI that we're going to be injecting on both routers. All right, so first of all, we're going to configure the carrier router. We're going to configure Ethernet 0/0 and 0/1. We're going to do a no shot. We're going to configure the IPs, and we're also going to configure the BGP instance with both neighbors, pointing out to the customer router. And we're going to jump into the customer router. We're going to configure the interfaces, Ethernet 0/0 and 0/1 with the corresponding IP addresses. We're going to do a no shot. We're going to also configure the interface loopbacks, which are going to simulate the LAN, the customer LAN. We're also going to configure the route map with the prepend configuration inside of it. And we're also going to configure the BGP instance and the first NOT 192.168.1.1. We're going to put the route map under that neighbor, and the carrier is going to select the 192.168.2.0/30 to reach the loopbacks configured on the customer side. With that being said, let's get inside CML and let's get started with the lab. Let's get it, guys. All right, so we're inside the CML now, and we're gonna start configuring the carrier router. We're gonna configure the interfaces, and we're also gonna configure the BGP instance. Now that we finished configuring the carrier router, we're gonna jump into the customer router now, and we're gonna start configuring the interfaces. We're gonna also configure the loopback interfaces, which are gonna simulate the LAN on the customer side. We're also gonna configure the route map and the BGP instance. Now let's configure the route map. Route map AS-prepend permit 10, and then set AS path prepend and 4 times my autonomous system that is going to be 65001. Alright, so we're going to configure now the BGP instance. We're also going to configure both networks running on the loopback interfaces, which are simulating the customer LAN. We're also going to configure both neighbors, and the first neighbor we're going to configure it with the route map. And once we finish the configuration here, we're going to jump into the carrier and we're going to verify the BGP routing table. Tip, if you got a neighbor already established and you assign a route map to a neighbor, make sure you do a clear IP BGP soft in or out, depending on the direction. So that way, whatever you can configure on the route map takes effect immediately. So now that we have configured the customer router, let's jump into the carrier router again, and let's do a show IP BGP. And as you can see, to reach both networks running on the loopback interfaces on the customer side, from the carrier, it's gonna select the secondary link as the primary path and the primary link as a secondary path. And this is because I influence the BGP routing table on the carrier side with the AS prepend command. All right, so let's do a trace route to the 10.0.1.1, which is running on the loopback interface on the customer side. And as you can see, it took the secondary link to reach that destination. Alright, so this is all for today's lab. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give it a like. And as always, this is Network J. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.